Good morning. Couple of minutes past 5 a.m. One of the disadvantages of Dyneema as a tent material is that in wind it can be quite flappy and noisy. Which is exactly what happened last night, starting about 10 p.m. maybe. And it's still happening now. It's my own fault because this is a really, really exposed site. But I'm just waiting for it to do it again. Because regularly throughout the night, the wind just whips up and the tent shakes quite violently, and the DCF whips around. Sorry, DCF is Dyneema. Whips around really, really loudly. And surprise, surprise, it's not doing it now. How very inconvenient. So I have got 17.9 miles to hike today to get to Horseshoe Lake, the junction, and then I think that's maybe another few miles down to the what's effectively a bus stop. There's a free trolley bus that runs between Horseshoe Lake and Mammoth Lake's town itself. Runs on the half hour every hour. So 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. So I'd got 20 miles done by kind of mid-afternoon yesterday, setting off at 6:30ish from camp. So I'm expecting a similar sort of performance today, maybe a little bit better. Oh look, there we go. And the wind's reared its ugly head again. Yeah, I've got nowhere near as much elevation change today. I've got about half as much. I think there's 2.5 up and 3.5 down. 1,000, that is. Sorry, nobody wants to see that. I'm just leaving camp and the sun is just starting to creep over into this valley that I'm in, hitting different parts of the mountain. It looks beautiful as well. Just having to be a bit careful because all the moisture on the trail has frozen overnight, so there's quite a few patches of ice and they're a little bit difficult to spot in places, so I'm just having to be a little more cautious than I usually am about how fast I'm going and where I'm putting my feet. Hiking with the puffy jacket on this morning, first time for a while. Hands are pretty chilly. It's definitely, I would say, coldest night I've had for a little while, and the coldest start as well. It was worth it though. That was a really, really nice view last night. I was literally just sat in the tent with the door open and just watched the sun go down as I was cooking my food and then drinking a nice cup of hot chocolate. Usually sleep with I have been sleeping with the door open, the outer door, nearly every night, to be honest with you. It's just really nice being able to look out at the mesh and see the views. Last night, as I was saying about the wind, it was rattling around something fierce. So in the end, it was kind of like blowing into the tent and almost like expanding the tent like a balloon, if you will. So in the end, I ended up closing everything up apart from the window at the foot end where that was facing a bush and it wasn't getting a great deal of wind coming into it. So I left that one open for some venting and shut everything else up. I've got to admit, that tent is really, really solid when you've got the two Apex guys out, and I added two guys onto each end, well, one guy onto each end where the carbon strut is, and it makes it really solid. I've had it in like 45-50 mile an hour winds in the UK, and it stood up to that quite nicely. So I know it can take a good old beating. Be nice to see what the Sil Poly version's like with the solid inner for winter. Sil Poly tent. I just kicked a stone up onto my ankle. I do that quite often. Oh, that smarts. Everything hurts a bit more when it's cold. Yeah, Sil Poly tents are generally a little bit easier to get a good pitch with because Sil Poly naturally stretches. Sorry, I need to shut up because there's a tent down here. I had no idea I had a neighbour that close. I hope I didn't disturb him. As I was saying, yeah, Sil Poly has naturally got some stretch to it, so you can generally get a nice tight pitch with that quite easily. Dyneema DCF and Ultra don't have any stretch, and they're a little bit more difficult to get really nice tight pitches with. You've got to really be on the ball with your pitching. I've found that with that tent of mine, you have to get the initial pitch with the 4 stakes in each corner. You've got to get that absolutely spot on. There's very little room for error. Otherwise, when you're putting the tent up, you put the poles in, you get like this really, really wonky offset ridge line. And I think that's a similar problem that people have with the Durson X-Mid. Putting that up, unless you get the stakes when you're staking it out in like a perfect rectangle, it can come off being very wonky and having a bad pitch. So, yeah, it's there's advantages and pitfalls to everything, and I still say that there's no perfect tent out there. There's just the perfect tent for you. It's the same old thing. If there was one tent that was perfect, then there wouldn't be anything else on the market. Everybody would have that one tent. So everyone's got different needs. I'm going to have to put the camera away because I can't feel my fingers. Come on, son, get up over the top, warm things up. It's on its way, it's coming. So I came down quite a big descent, and then across a bridge over a real raging cascading flow of water coming down the mountainside, and went up a little bit. Now I seem to be on the flat following this creek or river. It's quite pretty actually, with the sun's rays just kind of like shooting through the trees now and then and reflecting off the water. It's deep. So I think I've said a few times that I enjoy reading the comments on the videos. Try to respond to as many as I can. It's the same for when people support the channel through the buy me a coffee thing or the super thanks. They can put comments on there when they do that. I do read all those as well. And a big thank you to Chris D. Sorry. McGee Pass, Purple Lake, Silver Pass. Pretty sure it's this one. Yeah, big thank you again to Chris D for your support. I know it's not the first time that you've done it, so it's much appreciated. And I've got to admit, I read your little comment that you'd put on, and it really hit home with me. It's only like a one-line comment, but I really appreciated that. Thank you. I hope you don't mind me sharing it, but it just wrote, the Whitney episode was special. Thanks for that. And I've not really given it a great deal of thought since I'd posted it, but it was a pretty special experience. Sorry, there was another hiker coming towards me. Yeah, it really hit home with me. Like I say, that was something that was a big challenge for me, and there was quite a lot of effort went into that. And I enjoy making most of the videos, but I really enjoyed making that one. And getting to the top of that mountain felt like a real achievement. I'm getting a bit emotional now just talking about it. I can still remember the feeling of walking up to that register and signing the register and being the first one up there that morning. Seeing the sun come up. Oh, look at the Mammoth. Go on, give us a squeak. Perched on top of the branch there. I don't see that very often. They're usually on top of rocks. There we go. Thank you very much. Yes, a massive thank you for that, Chris. That's really nice. I do get some nice comments, but every now and then one just sort of like gets through to be a bit more than others. That's doing that is going to be something that I'm never ever going to forget. Oh, it looks like I'm Oh dear. Looks like I'm switchbacking up here. Oh, that means I'm going to be out of breath again. Time to say bye-bye for a bit. I'll leave you with a shot of that lovely, lovely little meadow down there. Wow, well, I found that climb really difficult this morning. It's completely drained me. I think basically I think my batteries are just running low in general. Just met a nice couple. I'm guessing it was mother and son, originally from Romania, now living in California, and they're doing the JMT. If you're thinking, wow, I like the look of this scenery in the Sierras, it looks beautiful, it looks like a real challenge, you're absolutely right on both accounts. But if you're thinking to yourself, I can't do the PCT, I can't do it all, I don't have the time or the money or what, just remember, you don't have to do all of it. You could do a part of it, you can do a section of it. There's quite a few transport links where you can get on and off the trail. You could even do the JMT, which is a shorter loop hike. So I believe, don't take my word for it, you have to research it, but I believe it starts in Yosemite National Park and finishes on the top of Mount Whitney. And it goes through pretty much the scenery that, if you've been watching my last week's vlogs, it goes through all that scenery. It's kind of the same as the PCT pretty much in that area. So you get to experience it all. It's an absolutely breathtaking hike, but very challenging. So yeah, you've always got options. There's always options. Wow. Well, this is Virginia Lake. Very serene. I've managed to keep my feet dry pretty much so far this morning. There was one crossing just a few metres back where I got my left foot wet. But unfortunately, that's not the case anymore. There's no way across this without getting your feet wet. And it looks like there's maybe one more after it as well. So join me in getting extremely cold this morning, shall we? Oh man. That's not even funny. Oh, that's knee deep. Jeez. That's thigh deep. Oh man, that wakes you up. Oof. Let me out. Oh, God, Bennett. Oh. I just think it's one thing that you really can't avoid in the Sierras is getting wet feet, especially in melt season.
just coming down to the bottom of another descent, and this is an outlook onto Purple Lake, which I've heard a lot of people mention actually, both PCTers and JMTers. It's supposed to be rather picturesque. Hopefully we'll have a nice clear view of it at some point. I can show you. It looks like the path goes right round the head of it there. It does look quite nice. Just been stood watching a little squirrel back there in the forest. There's loads of them darting around. It got a pine cone and it was sat munching on a pine cone, and it sort of like, it was looking straight at me, but I don't think it realised I was there. And then I moved and it was like, oh no, there's someone there. Ah! And it dropped its pine cone and ran off, and it was sort of like playing peekaboo around the tree with me and making some little noises. Real cute little thing. Oh, it is a nice setting as well. And backdrop of those mountains. Really pretty. Wow. I bet when that's still on a morning, you get a beautiful reflection there. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh yeah. That's gorgeous. Very, very picturesque. So this thing here just flew across in front of me and landed, and I've got no idea what it is. It's got its wings folded in at the moment. Really strange looking thing. As usual, if anyone knows what that is, please drop a comment in. I've not seen one of those before in any of my hikes. Let's have another look at this mountain view, shall we? And then I think I'm going to have to stop filming it, because I've shown you it so many times this morning. But it is just pretty amazing. The more amazing thing is that I've kind of come off the top of those, walked down into the bottom and come back up again. I don't like saying it, but I think I may have a small issue with my right knee, which is really unusual. It's always my left. I just bent down to take pictures of that creature back there. Got a real sharp stabbing pain in my right kneecap, which I've never had before. So I think basically my body's saying, get to Mammoth and don't do anything. It's funny, you know, I'm 46, and in my brain, like a lot of people, I'm 26. And I still think I can do what I used to. Well, you know what? I can probably do more now than I could when I was 26, because I was drinking and I was smoking back then. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I smoked for probably the best part of 10 years, if not a little bit more. Not the whole time, but on and off, probably more on than off. I quit in 2020. So yeah, probably a bit fitter now than I was back then. But yeah, your body just can't, well, my body can't do these things as well anymore. You kind of see all these, I'm going to sound really, really old now. You see all these young whippersnappers passing you on the trail, bragging about doing 35-mile days. You know, I guess I'm doing all right. If I can get out and do this, if I can hike 25 miles a day in this terrain, in my book I'm doing all right. I'm going to assume this was the 500-foot climb that was on the radar. I kind of spied it when I was coming down the other side. I could see a path cut going back up the hillside, the other side of the valley. I was secretly thinking, that looks dangerous. But it's actually been pretty gentle, to be honest with you. I think it was the switchbacky one this morning that really, really did me in. Anyway, every step is one step closer to Mammoth. I've mentioned in the past about strange cravings of foods when you get in towards town and what you start thinking of. Last couple of days, it's been yogurt, or I guess you guys say yogurt. I have no idea why. I've had some really nice ones. I think they've a brand called Noosa, quite like a thick yogurt with a fruity layer at the bottom. Oh yeah. Maybe even some cheesecake. I love cheesecake. Strawberry or lime. Oh, blueberry. Oh, stop it. That's enough of that. Oh, look what we have here. I thought I'd pass that because my app is saying that I'm at mile 900.8. But there we go, 900. One away from 1,000. Well, at the moment it is 10 past 1 and I am 1.7 miles away from the junction to turn off the PCT. I've just been stopped at a camp spot or a tent spot. Seeing as I'm going to be in town for a while, wanted to make sure that the tent was properly dried and aired. The ground sheet's been getting wet on the morning. I've not been using anything underneath the ground sheet, and as a result the ground sheet itself's been getting wet every morning. Just took the opportunity to pop the tent up quickly and dry it out. About half an hour while I sat and had a bit of food and got a hotel sorted. So I'm walking down the trail and there's a guy coming up the small incline towards me, and he's got one of the there's someone doing like custom print PCT map shirts. So it's like a long sleeve sun hoodie with the map, the outline map of the PCT on it and all the kind of like major stops. There's quite a few people wearing them this year. He's got a small backpack on, so I know he's not like a fully fledged PCT hiker. He's got sandals on. I look at him and I'm like, I recognise that guy from somewhere. And his first question to me was, is there anybody behind you? Now that's a common question that trail angels ask, because they don't just want to like give one person a ride. They want to give several people a ride at once, or they want to give several people some trail magic at once. And as soon as he asked that, I was like, that's Sprinter. And I don't know if you remember or not, but way back, well, a little ways back, when I was leaving Tehachapi, I got a ride from a trail angel in a Mercedes Sprinter van called Sprinter. And he took me all the way out to Willow Springs Road and dropped me off there. He was the one that I said had hiked the PCT with his friend or his brother. And he was showing me some photos of them actually going down into the LA aqueduct to get water back in like the 70s, I think it was, when health and safety wasn't such a big thing. And he's out here with a little backpack full of beers and sodas, just wandering around, giving them to people. I mean, what a geezer. What an absolute legend. It's crazy. I actually declined. Obviously declined the beer straight away. And I'm so close to town that somebody else can benefit from the soda that he was going to give to me. But yeah, I mean, what an absolute diamond of a bloke. See by the surroundings, this forest has been pretty hard hit, I would say, by wind. A lot of these look to be blowdowns that have been cut up and moved out of the way. Well, this is quite literally the most civilization I've seen since Kennedy Meadows. This is Horseshoe Lake over there, just behind all these dead trees. And this is the parking lot down here. And I guess there's a trolley stop down there. Toilets. It looks like a bomb's gone off. It's crazy. It looks like end of the world. Sprinter's van parked up down there. Well, just got to sit and wait now. I can definitely do that. That's going to be it for me now, guys, for a little while. I probably won't be filming whilst I'm in Mammoth. I keep wanting to do a video of my sort of like filming gear and how I upload videos. It may be that I get bored enough that I do that, but I don't. Hold your breath. So as usual, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to drop a comment, a like, a dislike, share, all that good old YouTube stuff. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you at some point in the future. The not too distant future, hopefully.